some Raven. I got a fever, and the only prescription is some more Ravens football. And in my last episode, I kind of broke down some stuff that I saw from the Ravens versus the Jaguars in the first week of the preseason, the 2019 NFL season. But you should already know that. And I kind of missed a few things, so I wanted to do a little bit more of that and then go over some other things and then maybe hit some other random topics. So to start things off, there's some big news that happened today. And today is, Sunday, August 11th. And the Ravens traded Kaare Vedvik to the Minnesota Vikings for a 5th round pick. And I love this. I love this on so many levels. Because first of all, you're basically taking a free commodity and turning it into pure profit with a 5th round pick. Secondly, now we can bring in another kicker and hopefully he's just as good and bring him out and sell him. And what I really like about this is what it says about our team building and the players we have. Because without Justin Tucker, I don't think Kaare Vedvik would have came to our team. I really think, why would a kicker come and try out for our team knowing that Justin Tucker is there? You're not going to make the team, so why do it? I'll tell you why. Because he wants to train with the best. That's why he wants to get his foot in the NFL. And to springboard that off, he figures, hey, I might as well just, train with this Justin Tucker guy who seems to be the most accurate in the league, train with him, get good enough, and then find a roster spot elsewhere and make some good money. And that's exactly what he did. And really, this is beautiful because, like I said, turning a free commodity into a 5th round draft pick. And a 5th round draft pick, that's not a wasted pick. A lot of players on our team and in team history have been 5th round picks. Ravens have just had a lot of success in the draft. That's why they've consistently been one of the better teams, because of their front office, because of them bringing in good players. That's the first way to having a good team. Second is having good coaching and all that. But, you need to have the talent first and foremost. So, and it kind of reminds me when we've always had this undrafted rookie free agent talent at linebacker. We've always had someone, and seems like we always will. Like right now, it's Peanut. He was an undrafted rookie free agent, converted safety to linebacker, and now he's the starter. And as of right now, Chris Board is still the starter, but we'll see if Kenny Young has anything to say about that, especially after his performance in the preseason game against the Jaguars. See if he can continue it. Just remembering off the top of my head, he did have a lot of missteps and he was in the wrong position a lot. But you know what? He still had the more splash plays than Chris Board. But maybe the Ravens aren't looking for splash plays. They're looking for, can you do your job? But, I'm thinking about this. Why have we always had success at undrafted rookie free agent linebackers? And I think it goes back to having Ray Lewis. And I think it started as players seeing Ray Lewis and say, hey, I want to train with the best. I want to become the best by, being in proximity to him. So that's why they would come here. And once that kind of train started rolling, then everyone saw that, hey, the Ravens, they've had successful undrafted rookie free agent linebackers. Maybe I can go there and be the next guy. So it's kind of this snowball effect where if you have an elite, legendary player at a position, people naturally flock to that and want to train with that because they think it'll make them better, which it should, and I believe does. Now, how this is similar is because this is what Justin Tucker is. He is now the most accurate kicker in NFL history, so far. He's hitting over 90% of his kicks, and most of his misses, I'd say about 80% of his misses, which might be 8 kicks, have been blocks. So really, he didn't necessarily miss them, they just got blocked. But with having this elite player at that position, we get a guy like Kaare Vedvik. We've had guys like Will Lutz, I think, for the Saints, Stephen Hauschka, Graham Gano, all guys kicking in this league currently that were that were playing with Justin Tucker that they were practicing with him, trying to get better. And the Ravens, they already had the best kicker, so they go ahead and trade them or move them. Now, I don't think they got any draft picks for these guys, but nowadays with the kick moved back, or with the point after attempt moved back, it's way more important to have that kicker who's at least automatic from 35, because that's no easy guaranteed kick anymore. Nowadays, there's a bunch of people missing those all the time. Extra points are not as automatic as they used to be, which is awesome. I love that part of the game. And so you need better kickers. And for whatever reason, it really, moving back this extra point really kind of unveiled how many terrible kickers there really are. Maybe not terrible, but, when the game's on the line or when it's their turn to make the play, these kickers, they just happen to not be able to do it. And it's kind of a rampant issue across the league. And you see teams like the Bears, and who else is really struggling right now, who's got a kicking controversy. Bend it like Beckham in camp. There should be more soccer players. You'd think they'd be accurate enough with it. They can't quite make it in the major leagues, or what are they? Major soccer? I don't know what they call it. World Cup soccer? I'm not a huge soccer fan, obviously. But, they can't make it at the highest level, so maybe they drop down, try to make it on as a kicker in the NFL, make a bunch of money. And I'd hope in the future those guys would want to come to the Ravens. And I remember people saying, hey, why don't we just trade Justin Tucker and Sam Cook and use Kaare Vedvik as our punter and kicker? That's a great, awesome, good idea. But you don't get rid of your all-time greats. You just don't do that. Even though the Ravens have done that before, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. But, kicker's a whole different story. You're not going to find someone comparable anytime soon. They don't just show up on your doorstep. And Kaare Vedvik wasn't that guy. He had a good preseason last year. He wasn't perfect, but he did decent enough. And the Ravens probably didn't get any trade offers, so they hired some people to beat him up, which is crazy. I don't think that actually happened. Maybe he did actually get beat up, and the Ravens caught a lucky break, because if he didn't get injured, he would have been swooped up on the open market without having a trading partner. But this year, he has a pretty good camp. Obviously not perfect. I just saw a tweet earlier that he missed like a 33-yarder today, because Zerbiak was talking about people complaining that the Ravens only got a 5th-round draft pick. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, they get the 5th-round draft pick now instead of him possibly going out next Thursday. And what if he misses 2 kicks? What if now all this pressure is on his shoulders? There's all this talk in the air about Kaare Vedvik. He's seeing his name all over the interwebs, and it freaks him out, and he's not able to make a kick anymore. And that is a very good possibility, because the kicking position, it's all about the state of mind, because all of them have a strong enough leg, but that is such a heavy moment in a game, especially when it comes down to a game-winning kick. That is so much pressure. The air is so thick, you can slap it. And the kicker's just got to say, nah, I'm the man. Kick it straight through the uprights. Kick it through that thick air. And not everybody can do that. A lot of people can't handle the pressure. And so when you find someone like Justin Tucker, you keep him. You don't trade him. Because like I was saying before, I believe that Justin Tucker is a reason we even got him in the first place, because he was an undrafted rookie free agent. So to sign an undrafted free agent, you have to have interest from the team and an interest from the player. And if to have a kicker want to come to you, he's either got to know, hey, there's an easy way onto this roster. I can beat the guy who's currently your kicker. But that's not the case. He knew going into this. But he decided to go with the Ravens because we had Justin Tucker. Because we have a guy who has done it at the highest level. And why wouldn't you want to train under that? Why would you want to go into a cold situation where someone's desperate for a kicker. You make a few kicks, but then you miss one, and now everyone wants your head. Pick up the good training habits. What does the best kicker in the league do? How can I better equip myself to be the best? And that's what Tucker brings to us. Because now's that snowballing effect, I'm hoping. After Bart Scott had a lot of success, I think right after that, a lot of linebackers really wanted to come, not only to play with Ray Lewis and learn from him, but also because the Ravens had a track record of putting you on the field and having success with those guys. So now, with Kaare Vedvik getting traded and probably going to get a good contract, or at least a better contract, now other kickers across the league are going to want to do that. And now we're gonna have an extra leg. We're going to need an extra leg. So currently they're going to be looking at kickers because Justin Tucker can't be kicking all of them, can't be kicking all these kicks. And so we're probably going to have a bunch of people bringing in their resumes. Any press is good press, but this was good press. It wasn't bad press. Normally you say that statement after, oh, wow, that was really fucked up. But, any press is good press. No, this was a good situation. So kickers all around, hopefully the States, they're going to say, hey, now there's a backup position open. Let me throw my name in there because look what happened with Kaare Vedvik. I can train with Justin Tucker. They now have an opening. Let me put my name in the hat. I want to be a part of this team. There's no guarantee this happens, but I think it can be. I hope it is because we've already cornered the market on undrafted rookie free agent linebackers or free agent linebackers. We've already cornered that market. And I think it started from the same concept that I think is starting today. Maybe not today, but because we've had other guys in the past. But I think now, someone actually getting traded for, I think that might be a tipping point. And we might start seeing more kickers come to our camp, putting on a great show, and everyone once again, oh, should we just sign him and let Tucker loose? No, I think you let him train and try to get some free capital. Try to get some free draft capital out of this. And that's huge, man. That is no small potatoes, and it's great front office work, not only being able to get a pick out of it, being able to actually trade, but actually finding who's the right guy for camp. Because, like I said, there has to be mutual interest. So half of it is on the team bringing up these good guys. So a lot of people said, hey, we could have gotten a fourth if we waited. Not necessarily. He, like I said before, he could have sucked, and we would have ended up getting nothing. I think that's like opportunity cost. Is that what the business term is? Or lost leader? I don't know. I forget which term it is. But, take it while you can, because in the future, you don't know. You're betting on someone who technically is unproven. On a guy who apparently makes decisions like to go to East Baltimore at night. Bro, why are you there? What are you buying? You buying cocaine? What are you doing? What are you doing in the ghettos of Baltimore? Or not the ghettos, just the bad part of town. Because he got beat up in a sketchy part of town, and everyone knows this. Like, why were you there? Don't they, in like Ravens orientation, bring you in and say, hey, don't go in this area. You have no reason to be there. I don't care if you hit up some chick on Tinder. You ain't going out there. Tell her to get her ass to your place. And the timing of this was all weird because this was the same kind of talks we were having last year about, will he get traded? Will the Ravens be able to get a trade partner? And, the conspiracy theorist bone in my body says, listen, if anyone benefits from Kaare Vedvik getting beat up, it's the Ravens. I'm going to put my detective hat on. And who benefits from Kaare Vedvik having to go on IR? I mean, he didn't even have to. He could have still been cut or traded or let go. He still could have just been let go. But the Ravens decided to put him on IR so that they could keep him on the roster. And obviously, if this is a true accident, that's what you'd want to do. You'd want to keep him just to see next year. But what if you didn't get any? There were no trade talks. No team was calling about this guy. Everyone thought, hey, our kicker's fine. We'll head into the season with him. And yeah, it's Sorry, I forgot what I was forgot what I was saying for a second. Damn it. Jesus Christ. My bad. I was holding my Apple Pencil, and I moved it across the table because I was like, damn it, I forgot what I said, and I hit my water bottle, and it was loud as hell. So sorry if I just broke out your eardrums. But hey, this is an unprofessional podcast. We do not pause unless it's for water because you don't want to hear me drinking. I mean, I could, and here, I'll do it right now. You tell me how it is. You like that? You like that? Anyways, so, yeah, the conspiracy theorist in me, that's what I was talking about. So, the Ravens would benefit from him being on IR, getting another chance to prove himself, and then maybe get trade talks. And like I said, maybe they didn't get any trade talks. But, did he actually get beat up? I never saw a picture of him. Never saw a video about it. All I saw was, obviously, I didn't really research it too much, so when I put my detective hat on, I'm a very shitty detective. I have, an eye patch and a beer belly, and I mostly eat donuts. That's the kind of detective I am. Not really doing the job. I'm like the first 96, not the first 48. Just like the first 96. I'll get him. I got him. Sarge. Anyways, is this a real thing? Because, I've made jokes about it before, about him getting beat up and it not being a real thing. But I don't want to make light of something that, possibly, most likely real. Don't want to make light of this guy getting beat up. But it happened at a very peculiar time. And the Ravens and John Harbaugh, they do this sneaky kind of stuff. There's always sneaky roster moves, and they're not the only team to do it. But, they happen to do it. Even John Harbaugh's God-fearing man self, as righteous as he is, they do some sketchy stuff behind the scenes that we can only speculate about. But, when a player like Bernard Pollard says and talks about some of this stuff, you're like, oh, he's not holier than thou. He kind of a dick. So they do sketchy stuff behind the scenes. And is this one of those things? Is this another example of some sketchy Ravens bullshit going on? Did they send ninjas out to East Baltimore to but to beat up Kaare Vedvik just so that he could stay on the roster to get another chance so we can get a 5th-round draft pick? If they did, I'm not saying I don't condone it, because hey, that's 5th-round draft pick. That's some good draft capital. In fact, I'm gonna look up who our past 5th-round draft picks have been, because a lot of teams, 5th-round draft pick, they're just going for boom or bust. So a lot of time they find bust. But for whatever reason, a lot of the Ravens team is actually made up of 4th and 5th rounders, because for the past several years it seems like our 1st and 2nd round guys or just haven't really panned out, other than a few guys like Ronnie Stanley, Marlon Humphrey, and that's about it. But everyone else, they're kind of man guys. A lot of our team is just comprised of 4th and 5th round draft picks who end up outperforming their draft skill. That's why, you get around the league, people saying, oh, how are the Ravens going to replace this? Because they're used to their team or other NFL teams, just basically any other NFL team. They're used to what they get with a 4th or 5th round pick in a player. Oh, this guy's a backup for a reason. It's no, the player ahead of him just happened to be a star and had been a star longer, especially on our defense. They had been there longer, so they get the right away. Tie goes to the runner, and then they're already running with the first team, so the tie goes to them. And these guys aren't chumps. They just happen to be 4th and 5th round picks, but they step into the game and they make hella plays. I.e., the first preseason game, we saw all sorts of people making a bunch of plays. So I'm gonna go down the list of all of our 5th round draft picks, all the way to the beginning. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm going to go down. So this past season, we picked out Dalen Mack in the 5th round. And from what I saw, very athletic, could step in for Michael Pierce or Brandon Williams in a pinch. or really just for a couple games, I really liked what I saw from him. He looked big, like an immovable object, but on a few plays when he's out in the open, looked very athletic and very skilled. Looked very fast for a guy his size. Last year, Jordan Lastly, ooh, buddy, that didn't work out. So hopefully, this is not starting off well. Jermaine Illuminor, he right now is set to be the starter. But, actually, talking about Jermaine Illuminor, not very good. I rewatched the game versus the Jaguars, and I keyed in on Jermaine Illuminor because I wanted to key in on the guard. Watching it a second time, I wanted to key in on certain positions, and the left guard battle was one of them. After a while, I kind of stopped noticing it and just started watching the game again, which I was trying to. I'm trying to work here, get information, not just watch the game and enjoy it, which I ended up doing. Just saying hey, look at that, and then not really sticking to my plan. But Jermaine Illuminor was getting beat up, running with the ones, and I was not happy with how he played. I do not hope he is the starter, but if no one else is able to beat that shitty performance, then so be it. I guess we have to put him out there. And I know Jacksonville's D-line isn't terrible, so... it is what it is. We're going to have to invest in the offensive line these next couple seasons. I really do think DeCosta is going to have to throw in a lot of draft capital at that spot, especially with Marshall Yanda retiring soon. And then 2016, Matt Judon, and he is our best outside linebacker currently. So there's a hit. So you could get someone who's even half Matt Judon, like that. That's some success right there. And I remember seeing something like the 2016 NFL draft is one of the worst drafts in overall talent. But we got Ronnie Stanley, Tavon Young, Chris Moore, Alex Lewis, Willie Henry, Kenneth Dixon, Matt Judon, and Maurice Kennedy. All in that draft. I'm sprinkled in with Kamale Correa, Bronson Kafusi, Keenan Reynolds. Those guys didn't pan out. You're not going to hit on everybody. But we got a lot of our starting players, a lot of key members of our team from this draft. And I remember seeing that article talking about how the 2016 draft is just one of the worst in history. And I was like, what? Half of our team is from that draft. Maybe these other teams suck at drafting, but not my Ravens, baby. Ravens are good at drafting. Let's see, 2015, we got Nick Boyle and Robert Myers. I don't really know what happened with Robert Myers. Wasn't he Quadzilla? I remember at the Combine, he was Quadzilla. I think that's him. But Nick Boyle, he got that contract. He is top 3 tight end on our team. Basically, they're all starters. He uses a fullback. He can catch the ball well. And he's a great, excellent player. Another 5th-round draft pick. 2014, John Urschel. Now, he was pretty decent. That the Penn State guy, he's like a mathematician, super smart player, but obviously he kept reading in on the CTE stuff, all of that research, and decided to give it up. So these 5th-round draft picks are looking good. 2013, Rick Wagner, when he left the team, he started only 1 year for us, and after he started, he went out and became the highest paid right tackle in the league from the Lions. So you're talking about getting someone in the 5th round, and so you're turning a kicker. This is what it would be, if everything plays out the same. Getting a kicker, turning him into the highest paid tackle at the time. Asa Jackson, I don't really think he panned out. Cheeky Brown, I know the name. I don't think he panned out either. But Pernell McPhee, great, awesome player. Let's see, we got 2010, David Reed, Arthur Jones. I think Arthur Jones ended up being pretty all right. David Reed didn't do much. 2009, Jason Phillips, Davon Drew. Nah, those guys didn't pan out. No bueno. 08, no 5th-round draft pick. 07, Troy Smith. And he was huge, and he was a Heisman winner. Quarterback, he backed up Joe Flacco. And he was he was instrumental. I forget what happened to him, but he had like a weird situation, I'm pretty sure. 2006, Dewan Landry and Quinn Sipnowski. I don't really know that name. But Dewan Landry, awesome, strong safety, killed it. I think he ended up leaving, getting a bunch of money. Like 05, Justin Green, I don't know that guy. 2004, well, we had like no draft picks. Well, we did, but we had a second, a third, a fifth, 2 6, and 2 7s. Roderick Green, I don't know. 2003, Albroyo Franklin, don't know that guy. Terry Jones in 2002, don't know him. Damn, we had a lot of 6th-round draft picks that year. We had 4. Damn. Wow. 2001, Chris Barnes, under position that just has two lines because they don't know. But I mean, you get the point. Like 2000, Richard Mercier, 99 didn't have one, 98, Martin Chase, Ryan Sutter. I don't really know these guys because I wasn't really watching football back then because I was, 5, 6, so. Yeah, so, I'm not seeing any. Oh, Jermaine Lewis, in our inaugural season, Jermaine Lewis, he was our 5th-round draft pick. So, listen, basically more of the story, going through that whole fucking 10-minute tangent of reading off these 5th-round draft picks, is that we got a 5th-round draft pick for a guy that we got for free. That's like finding gold and selling it. This is why people do treasure hunts. This is why people go out into the middle of the sea and try to find treasure. And they actually put up more money to do that than we did finding this kicker. So it's just awesome, like a team building philosophy, or like a way, just bring in play using your awesome good players to advertise. Say, hey, you want to train with the best? Come on down. You get a day with the starters. Like winning a radio contest. So very cool. I hope he does excellent for the Vikings, or, maybe, what? I think they'd trade him to the Vikings. I'm betting that they had other offers too, like maybe like a 6th and a 7th from another team, but they probably decided, hey, you're not coming to the AFC. We're not trading you to an AFC team because just in case, we are not going to lose on a Kaare Vedvik 50-yard field goal to win the game. We are not doing that. So it's good, at least, he's in another conference. We're only going to see him every 4 years, or if the Vikings make the Super Bowl, and so do we. So very cool, very awesome on so many levels, and I hope I hit every single point. I'll probably think of something after the fact, but, it is what it is. I thought almost 30 minutes of breaking down that one topic. So awesome on you, Ravens. Good job. Good luck in Minnesota. Don't get beat up. I don't know how sketchy Minnesota can get, but I don't know. Didn't he come from a Viking area? Didn't he come from some Icelandic area? So it's cool. He's going to the Vikings. The Viking is going to the Vikings, even though he's not white, because Vikings are white, right? Anyways, it's the snow. In other news, Marquise Brown is finally practicing with the team. I don't think he did full 11-on-11s, but he was participating in 7-on-7 drills. I guess he looked good. He made a few catches. He had one drop. Apparently it was on a bad thrown ball or a miscommunication, but they're just making excuses. It's fine, though. Everyone drops a pass here and there. But it's good to see he's finally out on the field playing with pads. And I'm hoping he plays this week. But, he's not, until I hear word that he's practicing 11-on-11s, with full contact, I'm not going to guess that he's going to play. And until I hear that, then I'll say he's going to play. So as much as I hope he plays this week, because he's been healthy for the longest time, he's been running around looking good, but they've been taking it slow, which is fine. We don't, you make sure that it's fully healed before you go out there, because if you don't, then it's only going to linger, and linger all season, or make it a worse problem, which is going to make it linger even longer. So it's like better to just get it out of the way up front, rip the Band-Aid off. If he misses a couple games, it's going to suck. As a fan, we might be pulling our hair out just because we want to see him on the field. Like, he's our first-round draft pick, our first-round wide receiver. And, if Miles Boykin's killing it and he was our third-round wide receiver, it only makes sense that Hollywood's going to kill it, right? I mean, that logic, it makes sense. But that's not the logic you can take. It's just he is a very explosive, very fast player, and he can bring just a dynamic to this offense that we don't have. We currently just don't have on there. Just a really fast, really good wide receiver, excellent route runner, pretty decent hands. He doesn't have to make a lot of contested catches, but apparently stat-wise, he was pretty good at that too, coming out of college. It's just he never had to because he got so goddamn open. And remember Marlon Humphrey talking about him clocking a 21 miles an hour just doing a rehab run. And Marlon Humphrey topped out at 20 miles an hour. And you're talking about one of the fastest guys on the team. A track guy, trains in track, coaches track in his spare time or during the offseason. And that man could only run 20. And Marquise Brown, not even able to go full tilt, was hitting 21. And Tyreek Hill, his top speed, the fastest guy in the NFL, or he clocked the fastest time last year, at least from what I know. He hit 22. So we're going to have like a top 5 fastest guy on the field. You better make sure he is good and healthy. And I really, really, really want to see him. But, if he's not doing 11 on 11s, if he's not taking full contact, he's not going to play. That's just the way it is. You're not just going to go from practicing in shells and maybe even in pads but not taking hits to then just going to full game action. As much as I think he could do it, which I definitely think he could, and he'd have no problem in it, and he'd probably still be successful. But the team doesn't want him to do that. They're behind the scenes doing that. But super exciting. He's taken the next step to full recovery and really, really being a part of this team. I saw when he did his interview, they were calling him Holly. They're not calling him Hollywood yet because he hasn't done anything yet, which is hilarious, which is awesome. It's like, earn your stripes, kid. We're not naming you shit yet. Although he was like the most explosive player in college, at least the most explosive wide receiver in college, in my personal opinion, last year. So was Reggie Bush. He meh on the career. I'll tell you that much. Meh on the career. So, you want to see him get fully healthy first before we do that. And it's going to be super frustrating. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to be happy about it. But he's got to be healthy, man. He's got to be healthy. Some players I want to talk about that I didn't really get to, that I realized after the fact that I didn't talk about in the last episode. It's just I forgot about something and I had to just kind of finish the episode up real quickly, so I was talking super fast and long-winded. And either way, it's Ravens football. I could talk about it all day, every day. I mean, maybe not do that, but I'm thinking about it all day, every day. So I think I know my stuff. But anyways. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. You listening the whole time? I thought I paused it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you're going to get mad. I'm sorry. I thought I paused it. But a player that I do want to highlight who had a very good game that I forgot to mention last week was Patrick Ricard. He had an excellent game. Threw some nice blocks on offense as like the fullback tight end type position guy. And also on defense was just wrecking the offensive line. Now he was going against third stringers, but you got to prove it against them before you can go up to the big boys. Now, do I think he can? I think he can. I think he's proved that. He makes plays. He has the ability to make plays. And at first I didn't think he would make the roster because he wasn't really playing that much last year. But I think that's only because he was in the doghouse. He was in trouble. Harbaugh put him in the doghouse My guess is because of his tweets. There was some kind of like weird stuff about he had like racist or homophobic tweets or something. So I think that kind of like got him in trouble. Maybe his teammates weren't really looking at him the same way, and they were like, fuck you, bruh. Fuck you, bruh. I ain't about you anymore. Screw you, Project Pat. But, he got his hands on the ball. He had a couple sacks, and some of those sacks, he was cleaning up after, like, something that Sack Daddy did. Fucking Sack Daddy. What a name. But, what he was able to do. So he was like cleaning up, but he was very active all over the field, very explosive, getting great push. And when it comes to building the team, having a two-way player, someone who's good and can be on your defensive line during the game, and where he's not going to be a detriment to anybody. He's going to actually produce and have success. Someone who can do that, but also be a mean blocking machine, get medieval, as Greg Roman likes to say. Now that is a player that you need to have on your roster because he takes up two spots that I think we need. We need extra players on the D-line, but we also need someone who can get medieval. And I think the defensive line, I think you got like Zach Seiler. Fuck's his name? I was just talking Patrick Ricard. And then like Gerald Willis. And then Dalen Mack. And I think only 2 can make the team. 2 out of those 4 are making the team. And I think Dalen Mack, he was a draft pick. He's making the team. And as much as I want to see Gerald Willis, I thought he was explosive. I thought he got into the backfield. I didn't really think he got pushed around a lot. There was a double team that I saw. He got blown up. But, that's a double team. You want to see him kind of get off that. But, he's getting double teamed. So, I'm not going to ding him so much because he's more of a pass rush kind of guy. And then Zach Seiler, I saw him getting pushed around a lot in that game. I saw him get some push. It was weird because I saw him get some push. He's number 95, right? I'm pretty sure because that's Zach Seiler. But whoever 95 was, he was playing early in the game, and he was getting good push. He looked pretty decent. But then later on in the game, going against 2s and 3s, he was getting pushed around. And it's like, well, when I was paying attention to him, I was like, well, what the hell is this? Why, Zach Seiler, you're not looking good. But then when I rewatched the game, I saw him in at the beginning of the game, and he was looking pretty decent. So, I think, can you keep? I don't think you can keep all those guys. Maybe 3. So with Dalen Mack, Locke, Zach Seiler, Gerald Willis, and Pat Ricard, you can only keep 2 or 3. Who is the odd man out? And I think with Pat Ricard's two-way ability, you got to keep him on the team, man. You have to. Because when it comes to those guys, he was having more success than Zach Seiler. And obviously, I think they played different positions. But, D-line in general. That's kind of, you can have so many. You can mix and match, put it like an outside linebacker. But, those front guys, I think Pat Ricard was better than Seiler and Gerald Willis. And Gerald Willis is an undrafted rookie free agent, so he doesn't have to be on the team. It's not an issue if he's not on the team. But Pat Ricard really did impress me. I really liked what I saw from him. I don't really remember if I talked about Jalen Ferguson in the last episode, but I really liked what I saw from him. And there was no talks about him during training camp. People asking hey, how's our second round draft pick looking? And no one's really saying much. And it's he's got some work to do. And he's running with the 3s. But then during game time, he gets in there, and he is wrecking shop. He is in the backfield. And it's oh, no wonder he got so many goddamn sacks, because his speed to power is elite. God damn, he just needs a few hand moves, and he is going to be ungodly good. And he stacked up the box in the run game. He got off his blocks. He looked really good. And it's well, why wasn't he looking good in practice? And I was oh, well, there's not as much contact, so you're not allowed to be as physical. And he is a physical player. He's an edge-setting, bull rush you right into the quarterback kind of guy. And I don't think you're able to do that during practice, or at least I don't think so. And you got to think he was on that left side of the line most of the time. So he was going up against Zeus, and if you're going to try to bull rush Zeus, you ain't going to have luck. You are not going to have luck, okay? That is just, it's not going to work out for you. He is a big man. He's going to have issues with small, fast guys, like a lot of tackles do, but once you get a hand, because once he gets his hands on you, you're done. You're not going through him. He is too big and too strong, no matter what his bench press numbers said. Now, another one of our draft picks, Ben Powers, I really didn't look at him, didn't really see him. Because like I said, I was watching that left guard position, but then like towards the game keeps going and going, you kind of forget, towards the end of the game, your fundamentals get a little loose, when your eyes get a little tired. So, I got to go back, and especially maybe this next game, I'm going to really try and key in on that position while I watch it the first time. So hopefully I can get some better information on that. And I do have Game Pass now, so I can rewatch the games. Hopefully get the game tape whenever they put that out, if they even do it for preseason. I want to see and do that. And I was looking like one of the other Ravens YouTubers, Edgar Allen. He does all sorts of film breakdown. I love his videos. And I commented on one of his videos, like, how are you getting this tape? And he just said Game Pass. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I figured, you can get the tape and stuff from Game Pass. But I didn't know you were, like, allowed to post it on YouTube. I didn't want to just, like, throw them out on blast in the comment section. Hey, is this illegal? And then all of a sudden YouTube's like, hey, yeah, it is. I thought I was legal because now I got Game Pass and I have an iPad. And so if I can figure out how to draw on videos, I can totally break stuff down and do similar stuff and go over highlights. And that'd be awesome. I don't want to steal any thunder from them. But, that's what I love to do. I love to watch the game. I'm not nearly as technically sound or know, here's the concept you're going for. I'm more, I see good, I know good. Like if I know what's good play and I know what's bad play. As simple as that sounds, I think if you go back and listen to me breaking down draft prospects, I think if you actually do that, you're going to find that I was right a lot. So far this year, I'm killing it. The guy for the Patriots that's killing it, Jacoby Myers, he is the talk of the town over there, and everyone's like, where'd this kid come from? I was all over him. I'm pretty sure he was like an honorable mention in my top 10 wide receivers. I talked about him a bunch, and when I first heard about this Jacoby Myers killing it for New England, I was like, Jacoby Myers, it sounds familiar. Then I was like, oh shit, that's the guy from NC State. Because, I went to go watch, everyone's hyping up this Deebo Samuel kid, who also happened to kill it for the 49ers. I really didn't see it in him, but, he was killing it for the 49ers his first preseason game. And so I went to go watch him on tape, and I'm watching the game, and it's like, well, who the fuck is this Jacoby Myers guy? He's the one killing it every single game, every single drive. He's getting most of the passes. It's like, well, this guy's obviously the better receiver. Let me talk about him. And if everyone's talking about this Deebo Samuel guy as like a top 10, and they're not talking about his teammate in the same light, who I think is like far and away better, especially if you watch the games. So it's like, okay, well, I'm right about him. That's what's up. And there's just like a bunch of other rookies who are getting a lot of hype, especially in training camp and doing some game highlights that I really focused on and said I think they could be successful. They'd be good for the team. Now there's some players that aren't doing as well, but we're not going to talk about that. But there is a lot of players that I hyped up that not a lot of other people were hyping up that are making plays, and that's awesome. Also, like that Miami wide receiver, Preston Williams. Now, I only got turned on to him because of who's the guy with the crazy hair? Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper was the one who initially turned me on to him, was talking about him. And yeah, I watched his tape, was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a really good receiver. but he's never going to come to the Ravens because he has issues with, like, beating up his girlfriend or some shit, or he had assault charges against his girlfriend. So it's like, well, the Ravens aren't going to get this guy, but I think he's going to be a good player. So I can at least evaluate talent. And that's one of my most favorite parts of football. You know, when the season's over and everything's all done, it's like, ooh, now we get to grade the players and see who's going to be the best. Because it's a game, and it's chess, and everyone's on an equal playing field. I don't care if you've been in the NFL for 1,000 years and you've covered the game 1,000 years. I have just as much a chance to be right about a player just by watching him. And I think I have a good feel of that it factor, that you're going to be good in the NFL. You know, I am literally the most humble. That's what it sounds like. I'm just like stroking my own dick here, but I just this one year, I think I was killing it. Honestly, I think I did a good job in covering the draft this past year, and I hope it continues into this next season because a lot of these guys that I highlighted and I thought were going to be good are making some plays. We'll see what happens come season times, but you know, I tried to stick away from the typical, hey, everyone's talking about this guy. I tried to get a little bit more crazy, and obviously I didn't have time to look at everybody, so who the fuck knows? But you know, I thought I did pretty decent. So with that being said, yeah, I kind of want, I just don't know if looking at the game tape and posting it on YouTube, if that's actually legal, but I would like to do that. I'd like to, you know, show some videos and show some stuff that I see, you know, under my perspective, you know, make jokes, even like draw a dick, like, you come here, go down the field in a loop here, and then they're going to box out, and then you end up drawing a dick, like one of those classic bit. That's hilarious. Do one of those. But, you know, because I have the iPad, I just need to figure out how I can draw over videos, like how the commentators do it, how they can just like take a pen and draw on the screen. If you know how to do that, if there's like an app or if there's some way to like mark up a video, please let me know in like the comment section on YouTube or whatever. Because I'm trying to figure that out, but I'm not seeing anything on an app or anything where I could like, because I have Game Pass, right? So I could like, if I was able to just play Game Pass and then have my pen going on the screen and then just screen grab or record the screen basically, because on an iPad that's just an option. You can just record the screen and it just does it through iOS. So that's pretty cool, and I'd just be able to do that, mark it up, show you what I see, and I think that'd be really cool and really fun content to kind of create. You know, get something more than just a podcast on at least the YouTube channel, you know. Expand the brand. So that's a little behind the scenes right there. This apparently is going to be a longer episode. This is coming out longer than it normally is. I think it's because I'm not talking as fast as I normally do. I think I got to get better at that. You know, slow down. The listener needs time to catch up. Okay. So, because I have Game Pass, and so I've been watching some games. I've been watching a lot of football recently because it's starting. Got that itch. You know, you take one hit of football and you need 2 hits to get the same thing, and now it's like I've exaggerated this so much. I need like 36 hours straight of football before, you know, I finally feel good. But, you know, there's some things, some patterns, or just aspects of the game that kind of irk me. Maybe not piss me off, but annoy me. Probably the better way of putting it. Some of them piss me off, actually, and I'll get into that. But first thing is announcers. Anytime a quarterback goes on a streak, like 3-4 games, doing something crazy, all of a sudden he has magic. He's a fucking wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what? I said you're a fucking wizard, Harry. Fuck you, I'm not a fucking wizard. Anyways, you guys know the video. If you don't know that video, then just get out. Just stop listening now. But any QB who has some success over like a 3-game period, oh, it's Mahomes magic, Fitz magic, Baker Mayfield, he's got magic. Ooh, Lamar Jackson, that's a little bit of magic right there. That was almost some Mahomes magic right there. It's like, he's Lamar. Anyway, just It is just such a common phrase that just keeps getting thrown around, where it's lost its oomph. Because Fitz magic, I feel like, I don't know if that was the original, but now it's Nick Foles magic. You got anybody who goes on a run. There was no Joe Flacco magic. So it obviously happened. This phrase just kind of happened, I think, after Fitz magic. Everyone now just wants to claim that their QB has magic powers. None shall pass. Fuck. Get out of here. It's just annoying to just hear the same phrase over and over and over, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. He's got magic. What, like Magic Johnson? Are you saying he has AIDS? That is fucked up. Just announcers, anytime they say or talk about magic with a QB, I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I really am done with it. Another thing, this might be a little bit out there, and you might stop listening when I say this, but forward progress. Fuck that. Let's get rid of the forward progress rule. I am so tired of that, because you stop a play. I think you should wait until the guy with the ball is down. Now, what happens if someone gets picked up and ran back 90 yards? Well, looks like you lost 90 yards on the play. Don't do that. Get down. Pick and choose your battles when you need to stay up. Because I'm tired of seeing someone get the first down and then get tackled, and land 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It was like, oh, well, he's in the end zone. Or someone jumps up and throws their hand and the football over the goal line, and they pull it back, and that's a touchdown. We're done. He's not even in the fucking end zone. You go down. The ball is down where you're down. I'm tired of these, where is this? There's some magic for you. These magical yards that just all of a sudden appear on the stat sheet, and the ref picks up this ball. It's 5 yards behind the line. He picks it up from the guy who's just handed it to him where he got stopped, and puts it 5 yards ahead. First down. And the Ravens and every team has, it has helped them. And I know it's an offensive league, so they're never going to take this away. But you know what? Fuck that. Let's get rid of the rule. Forward progress can eat a dick. I want to see a defensive team. I want to see 3 defensive players. The running back gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and these 3 defensive linemen straight up pick them up and run them downfield. Eventually, they're going to get taken down. But, they get 30 yards down the field. You have a loss of 30. That's going to make defensive football exciting again. I don't know why the NFL thinks that only offensive plays are exciting. That's the only way to make the game more exciting. First off, you could have less commercials. That's one way. But second off, you can make the defensive plays more exciting. You could make this, hey, you better land in the end zone. You better, because wherever you land is where the ball's going down. There's nothing more else I can really say on it. It's just, it's weird. I've never really heard anybody else talking about it, because it's never really been an issue for anybody else apparently. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of forward progress. I think it's a travesty against the defense. I think it's a travesty, these fake yards. No, you got stopped and pushed back. This is a game, this is a physical game about man versus man. Who is the more imposing human being? Who is stronger? Who is bigger? Who can punish the other team more? And I want to see that actually play out on the field. I don't want to see this, hey, well, he moved his hand forward. That's going to get rid of a lot of first downs. You know what? I don't care. I really don't care, because I'm a fan of defensive football. Apparently the NFL's not, but I am. I love seeing a defense, and that's why I'm such a huge Ravens fan, because they've always had a defense here. how much more legendary our teams would have been if forward progress wasn't a thing? At least the defense, who knows on offense? Who knows what would have happened? But I just think, you can still reach for stuff. You can still reach for the first down, still reach for the end zone, but the ball has to go down. The ball has to go down. I'm not a fan. Well, because sometimes a running back, or like a jet sweep, or basically any run, they'll go to one side of the field, and they're like, oh, fuck, it ain't working, and they, cut back for a second to try to go the other way, but as they're cutting back, that's when they get hit. So they give him that back to the line of scrimmage before he cut back yard, and he gets tackled while he's going backwards, so he loses 6 or 7 yards. That's where the ball should be. That is where the ball should be. I don't know why I've never heard anybody else talk about it. Maybe there's some sort of aspect of this that I didn't think through. But come on. Forward progress. Get out of here. Finally, I've talked about this before, but the 53. The final 53. Why is there 53? Oh, wise NFL makers. Tell me why, Roger Goodell. Why is there 53 players on the roster? Oh, Google, can you tell me why? No one can. There's no explanation online, at least not that I found, because I literally looked it up because I don't know why there's a 53, and I wanted to talk about it as something that, annoyed me, and I figured I should look this up just to make sure there's not some, Sir 53 Wellington, the creator of the NFL back in 1802, way before the game was even invented, but the inventor of the concept of the sport loved the number 53. It was his lucky number. He won the slot machines or the whatever other roulette or whatever. Anyways, even roulette doesn't go to 53, but whatever. There is no reason that I have found that there is a 53. I've heard explanations about with the salary cap and people talking about an unlimited amount of people on the roster where you could have 200 players all making the rookie minimum. So you could just have a team of minimum, rookie making minimums, and you could have a team that way, but you'd have 200 people. And that causes a whole bunch of other issues like health insurance and costs for the team and, airfare and all that bullshit. But it's no. I mean, why 53? Because the numbers don't add up. 11 starters on offense, 11 starters on defense, 22. Let's say you get a backup for each spot, 44. And you got 44 players. And let's say you got special teams. So what is that, 45? No, 49. Can I do fucking math? 48? Either way, it's not quite 53. And then, throw in some more backups, and then you can get to 53. But it's why not 54? Why not 55? Why don't we just take it to 60? Because there's also a practice squad. There's this large, I don't know how many people are on the practice squad. Actually, let me look that up. How many people are on the world? What? NFL practice squad. Why is that not a question people are asking? Wait, that's not an answer. Keep up to 10 members on its practice squad. So that's 63 players. Why do you need a practice squad? Let's just keep 60. And so if you have a crazy rash of injuries, all of a sudden your whole team just gets injured left and right, you can at least have someone already on the team to replace them. You don't have to have this whole poaching bullshit system that is bad for the player and bad for the team because they don't get to train with the same people. They just get moved from team to team. They don't get a city. It's not fair to their family. And they're not able to get as improve as a player as they could if they just stayed in one spot. And that's only because, they maybe one year they weren't quite good enough to make the practice squad or to make the team. So they go on the practice squad. So let's say they get a whole year under their belt, and then maybe next year they'd be good enough. They would improve well enough to get on a 53 on the next year. But before that can happen, another team is like, oh fuck, we're out of cornerback, so we're out of linemen. Let me take this guy off your practice squad, put him on our team. And now this guy, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know your playbook, doesn't know anything. So he's got to work on your playbook before he can even try to get better as a player. And so it hampers him. It's just like, 2 steps or 1 step forward, 2 steps back anytime this person gets poached. And I feel like it happens all the time. And it's all because there is a practice squad and there is this system in place when really there shouldn't be. We could get rid of that. Just make it 63. Why 63? I don't fucking know. Just because that's the practice squad plus the already 53. And there is no explanation why there even is a 53. I really just want to know why. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why must I cry? Like, it just baffles me that there's no explanation for this. Like, maybe there is on the NFL website, but it seems like they just kind of decided it. But, I want to see the notes for that meeting. I want to see, like, what they jotted down. Like, oh, well, this guy said this, and this guy said this. So they're like, all right, so there was a huge debate between 54 and 52 players on the roster. And so finally they were just like, let's just split them down the middle. Good thinking, Terry. We'll put 53 on the roster. And then now you got to cut all these players down, and a lot of good players, especially as a Ravens fan, when we have, I believe, one of the deepest, rosters in the whole league. You can tell by how we've won 14 preseason games in a row. We haven't lost a preseason game since before Lamar was playing college, which is a crazy stat. But, we just have a deep squad. And we would be able to remain a deep squad if the roster was bigger. And it just annoys me that there's no actual explanation. If they gave me an explanation, even if I didn't agree with it, it's an explanation. I got to hear their side of it. Come on, man. It pisses me off. Anyways. This is getting long, like an hour long. Damn. I don't even have that much content. But I want to go over my picks that I predicted last week for the first week of preseason. And I knew this is going to be tough. It's the first week of preseason. And you don't know about a team, especially it's preseason, a lot of backups playing, who's got the deeper team, who's really trying to win the game, which coach puts their team in bad situations on purpose, and which team is just trying to win the game, trying to put their team in good positions, just trying to win the game, or like I said, trying to put your team in a bad position, just trying to see how do my players react. Really probably doing better coaching by putting them in bad positions, by like seeing, okay, let's see what happens if, if there's a bad call or they just happen to be in the wrong spot. Let's see if the instincts take over for this kid. And so you don't know who's doing that. And so it is a free-for-all. You don't fucking know. You base it off of last year because that's what you do, and then off-season moves, but you never know how this shit works out. It's any given Sunday anyways. Even if you know everything, so much about the team, anything could happen. There's a rainbow outside. Taste the rainbow, find some Skittles, baby. Or a leprechaun jerking off at the other end of that rainbow. That's the gold. No, anyways. So going over these picks, I went 6-10. That's not the way I wanted to start off this season, but it's the first game, and now, hopefully, when I make the picks for this upcoming week, which I'll do in probably my next episode when I review the Packers game, when I'll go over that. That one probably won't be as long because I won't have a topic that I'm going to just go after. But, hopefully I can do better. But we're starting off on a bad foot. We're 6-10. That's we're drafting early. 6-10 ain't good. Not bad. I was right 6 times. But I was wrong about the Jets Giants. Who knew about that one? The Colts Bills. How did the Bills win that one? Are you kidding me? Dolphins Falcons. The Dolphins are tanking. I was wrong. Texans versus Packers. I should have just picked the Packers. Texans are garbage. I was hyped on them, but now not so much. Chargers versus Carolina. Not Carolina. Cardinals. How the fuck did the Chargers lose that? They have a good team. How the hell did they lose that? Maybe they're one of these teams that puts their team in bad position just to see what happens. I got the Bucks for Steelers wrong. I just wanted to see the Bucks win, so I rooted for them. And that's not the way to make your bets or your picks, but, it is what it is. Saints versus Vikings. How did the Saints lose? They have one of the best teams, too, and they're really good at drafting, at least these past couple years. That one year, they had a legendary draft. But, whatever. I also got the Rams Raiders wrong. They were on Hard Knocks. I should have guessed Raiders were going to win. But I thought it was going to be the Hard Knocks curse where it goes the other way, where they do terribly. And then the Cowboys 49ers. I had no idea what to expect. And like I said, I kind of mentioned earlier, Deebo Samuel killed it. And then Jalen Hurd, man. I was pretty high on him. I thought he was awesome. I really liked his running ability too. I remember going over him in the draft and talking he's got some real special skills, and he killed it. And so the 49ers won that game. But 6-10, not so good after I was just boasting about my fucking ability to look at talent and say, hey, they're good. Which just sounds simple, but I just love the draft. I really do. And it's just a fun game because you don't know. You really don't know how well a player is going to play in the NFL. There's so many factors that go into it. If you're going based on skill, awesome, or ability to play when there's money involved, which is a whole other demon that I didn't even touch. But, it is what it is. So, with that being said, this is a hour-long podcast. I only took a few breaks to drink some water. You heard one of those times. I'm sorry, I thought I paused it. But, if you listen to the end, thank you for listening. You're a real trooper. I hope you love the podcast. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Give it a rating on iTunes. Do all that awesome, easy stuff that helps me out, but doesn't take anything away from you. Please help me out. Be a kind gentleman or gentle lady. And if you're a lady listening to this, give a shout out because football seems like it's a man's game. But, you run into girls all the time. Oh, you like football too? What? I didn't know this was a thing growing up, but now it is. Women are coming around to football, baby, and I'm all for it. I need to find me a good football chick who knows a lot about football, which would constitute the name football chick. But either way, thanks for listening. I'm your host, me, Steven. It's so weird saying your own name. I don't like saying my own name. It just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. Anyways, so I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll leave you with the go Ravens. Oh, that was a remix version. Oh, go Ravens. Oh. All right, bye.